Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the Talk of the Mac community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, live for the very last time probably before we have him back on U.S. soil, Mr. Joe Kissell. This time, well, he's not exactly the author as I understand it. This time he is the star of something called Take Control Live, working with your iPad. Joe, it's great to have you back on, well, not quite the eve of your departure from Paris, but close.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Your acoustics are different, Joe. You sound like you're talking from inside a great big empty.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing on the walls. The books are gone. The bulletin boards are gone. Most of our furniture is on a ship, gradually making its way across the ocean. I was telling Chuck before we started this broadcast, every day large objects leave our apartment. So last night our TV left, and this evening our microwave left, and we have like people lined up to buy like everything that is here. And it's sad in a way, it's liberating in a way, but man, this is an empty place. And I just, like I have my desk, my MacBook Pro is sitting on consists of 4 empty boxes. With an extra shelf from the closet just laid down on top of them, because that's all we got. So we just had, there are very few objects in here. So if the sound is kind of echoey or the background isn't very interesting, sorry, I will fix this in a few weeks. We're moving on 12/12/12.
Oh, good.
So I think that's kind of auspicious. It's a date that works no matter whether you're in the United States or Europe, however you order, the day, month, year, 12/12/12, it's always the same. I wish I could say we were leaving at 12:12 p.m., but actually we're leaving before that. We'll be in the air at 12:12 on 12/12/12. So
how many 12s? Never mind.
Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I hope the move goes well and that you survive. That's important.
There are all these lists of like the most stressful things that you can go through in life. And I think, moving is one of those things, and buying a house is one of those things. And we're doing both of those things. And both of them have had some hiccups. And so it remains to be seen exactly how that will work out. We're also trying to, like potty train our toddler, and he's got a cold, and we're trying to sell all of our stuff here, and, patch holes in the walls and paint. And the sheer number of things that we're dealing with right now is just insane. And then on top of that, of course, I have a few little books and articles to write. And this thing that we are here to talk about today, which has been, it's interesting, it's really fun, and it's different, but it's been extraordinarily time consuming. So everybody just bear with me.
Well, that's all right. We know that you're suffering from exhaustion and all that. And I love talking to you, Joe, because it makes my life seem not quite so hectic. So thank you for that. Take Control Live, working with your iPad. When we started to talk about this, I was told that you're not exactly the author, that it's a little different, and so I decided to dub you the star. This is something new for Take Control. So does this make you the Chuck Yeager of Take Control?
I don't know what this makes me. It might, we'll see how it turns out. I could be the Chuck E. Cheese of Take Control. I don't know. But we've been doing a lot more live video in the Tidbits world. We've done, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 of these Tidbits Presents things where we just say, hey everybody, some of us are going to get together live on Google Hangouts on air and talk about some topic, and people just pop in and watch live, or they watch the recording afterwards. What a lot of people may not realize is that we're doing this not just for the heck of it, not just as a public service. It is that, but also as practice. We've been trying to figure out the technology and the logistics to do what we are now doing, this Take Control Live thing. We've been talking about this for like a year, and this is our first serious effort to actually make it happen. And it's been a long time in preparation. So the story is basically this. I wrote this book when the first iPad came out, Take Control of Working with Your iPad, we had a bunch. We had, one on media and one on just iPad basics and one on networking and stuff. So mine was about like, business productivity kinds of things. And then, iOS 4 came out, updated the book. And things have just moved insanely fast in the iPad world. New models, first we have the Retina display, we have the iPad mini and, different form factors and the apps just, exploding. And so I'd have my list of like things I should address in the next version. And then, iOS 5 would come out, then iOS 6 came out. I'm like, I can't keep up. Even with ebooks, which should be really quick and easy to update, it was just too overwhelming. So, we had been talking about doing live video stuff for a while, and we've been talking about updating this book for a while. And at a certain point, those two concepts just collided, and we decided, hey, what if we do our first, this is a paid, you buy a subscription, a season pass basically to these 4 live presentations, and it is literally me live. I will be not just talking like you see now, nor will I just be, holding up my iPad next to me. We have done some clever magic so that you can see, my face and Adam's face, and also what's on my iPad screen as I demonstrate things in real time. So we're kind of pleased with ourselves for that. So I will be giving these 4 presentations, each one on a different aspect of working with your iPad. And we don't know how many people will be attending. It could be 10, it could be 1,000. So we're trying to hedge our bets with the interactivity. So we're basically saying we want the audience to participate, but if everybody kind of raises their hand at once, that could get a little crazy. So, ask us questions in advance, and if anything does come up during the live show, we'll have a little chat window open. And Adam will be watching that while I'm doing the presentation, and then at the end he'll sort of feed me the questions. So we're gonna, really try to customize it. Don't know how well it'll work, but we're giving it a go.
That sounds good. Well, Joe, I've seen some of the live stuff that you all have done so far. Now, is this going to be packaged in any way, or is this in relation to a revision to the Take Control of Working with iPad book, or how does it all fit together?
Okay, so this particular thing is in lieu of the next edition of that book. I sat down with my Pages file open, attempting to revise that book, and after a couple of hours, I was just like, no, this is just not going to work. There's no way I can keep this up to date in any responsible way. So basically, instead of an upgrade to the book, we're offering these videos, and I think that in the course of the 4 hours, I will be able to cover approximately the same scope of information that I covered in the book. But the difference is it will not only be more up to date, it'll be so up to date that, you asked me a question 5 minutes ago and I'm answering you right now. And then we're not going to have a book as such to go along with it. But what I'm going to do is basically give attendees a PDF that has sort of my enhanced notes. So when I give a presentation at Macworld or whatever, I do this sort of thing. I will talk about a number of products, and I'll talk about websites, and I'll have main points that I want to make sure you can take home with you. So I just create a little PDF that has all that stuff in it. So you won't need to take notes while you're watching because all the major stuff I cover and links to any products or websites or whatever will all be in the PDF. And then a month later, we'll do the second round, and again, I'll update the PDF, and we'll just keep going. So, if this turns out to be successful, we could, I don't know, do more presentations, do more series on other topics, or do another set of series, a set of presentations on working with your iPad. I mean, we just have to kind of see how it goes. We're very excited about it. I think it's going to be lots of fun, and it's probably just as much preparation as writing a book, but it's a different kind of presentation, and I prefer I mean, I've written a lot of books, and it's an okay thing to do, but I really prefer being able to talk to people when I can get sort of immediate feedback, like I'm not getting this, or you've lost me, or oh, that was a really funny thing you just said, or whatever. I like that better. So I'm hoping that it'll kind of work for everyone. And of course, not only will they be live, but if you can't make the live presentation, or if you just want to rewatch it, they'll all be recorded too, so you can download the full recordings or stream them afterwards.
It's interesting to watch everyone kind of struggle with this new multimedia environment. And when I say new, I mean, we've had multimedia now for a long time, but it's now more accessible than ever. I've seen you present at Macworld. Obviously, we've talked here a lot. We talked on audio only a lot before we had the video option.
Right.
I've read your books. How much pressure do you feel to, I guess, performance pressure to participate in all of these channels, or at least stretch yourself out into them?
Well, a good bit, and it, I don't know if people realize when they come to see somebody speak at Macworld or even a user group meeting, a person may be up on stage for 45 minutes, but it's not evident that they may have spent hours, days, even weeks preparing for that. And I don't always spend as much time as I wish I could, but I always really sweat the details. I try to memorize as much as possible, so I'm not looking at my notes all the time. I try to watch pacing, and I think I need a joke here, so try to come up with jokes in advance, stuff like that. And I don't know, you look at me now, I don't have like a prepared speech, and I'm saying and ah a lot, and it's not smooth, but it's harder than it looks. So on the one hand, I really enjoy it. I like the interactivity. On the other hand, it's not necessarily less work than writing. In fact, in some ways it's more. I mean, I just put together a little like 2-minute trailer for this series of presentations, and that took me like an entire afternoon to do a 2-minute trailer. And we also have, like, when you first buy the season pass, you'll get a little PDF kind of ticket. And in the ticket, we wanted to give you something that you could watch immediately. So there's about a 8 or 10-minute video in there. That's an introduction to the series, and it has some tips on using your iPad. And that took Adam and me a couple of days to do. We did take after take after take. There might be a blooper reel, actually, of all these, the presentation itself, and then I had to do a bunch of editing on that. And I am okay with iMovie, but I'm not by any means an expert at video stuff. That's just not, has not been my area, and I'm learning. So I have grand plans, new home office in San Diego is going to have way better lighting and better acoustics, and I'm going to have interesting stuff behind me, and all those great things. Maybe get a nicer camera, and I'm going to try to sort of nurture that aspect of my work, but it is more comfortable for me anyway to just sort of sit in a quiet corner with a laptop and type. And there has been some pressure. I like it, but it's also a little bit, makes me crazy sometimes.
Well, you're right. It takes effort. We do it here, and these are not polished interviews, and I kind of like it that way because folks know that they're real. As anyone who's been a guest on the show, and the people that don't know, I almost never, and I mean never, give a list of pre-prepared questions. We have topics, no matter who we're talking to. We have topics. We kind of know a few places we may want to go, but if we never get there, that's fine. They're real conversations instead of scripted interrogations, which I detest.
Right.
So, Joe, how do people participate in this? How do they get a hold of it if they can't participate whenever you do it? How does the logistics for the interested party work?
Alrighty, so you buy a season pass, and we are doing something different with pricing. Don't be afraid. Take Control books started out at $5, and then over time they got longer and they rose to, most of them are $10, and some of them are even more than that. Some of them are 15 or even higher. And the video, considering the amount, not only the amount of work we're putting into it, but enhanced infrastructure costs, we are going to sort of position this as more of a premium product. So the season pass is $49.99, and that's for 4 episodes, 4 presentations, 4 installments, whatever, that taken together will give you not only the approximately the same content as the book, but not just text and screenshots, me actually showing, you touch here and you do this and this is how it works. However, we are offering an introductory special. So if you buy your season pass up till the date of the first presentation, half price, so $25, which I think is awfully good. So give yourself an early holiday present and sign up for the season pass, $25 until I think it's December 6th. I have to look at my calendar, and then $50 after there. When you pay your money, you go through the Take Control shopping cart just like you normally would, and you'll get a PDF just like you would when you're buying a book. Only this PDF is really short. It's, I don't know, 18, 19 pages or something. And it has a little introduction that I wrote, and it has outlines of each of the presentations so you know what topics we're planning to cover, and it has the dates and times, and a little icon you can click to add this to your calendar, and then a link you can click to go to the live presentation on that time. And of course, there's also, as I mentioned, the little preview video. So when the time comes, if you are available, and we've tried to make the times as reasonable as possible, come see us live, and you can watch on a Mac or PC. We had really, really hoped that you could watch the live presentations on an iPad or an iPhone too. And right now that isn't working, and it's not our fault, it's Google's fault. Shame on you, Google. Hopefully that will happen at some point in the future, but the recordings are just regular old YouTube recordings. So after the presentations, you will get a new PDF that has everything that old one had, plus the new show notes, and plus a link to where you can go and view the recording of the previous episodes. So even if you can't join us live, you'll be able to see the recordings afterwards as many times as you like. That's pretty much it. It's not an ebook, so it won't be available in EPUB format or Mobi or whatever, because not a book. But we will have notes, and we hope that with taking questions in advance and taking questions during the live presentations, we'll be able to get even better information that we could put in a book, because it's exactly what people want to know about this topic.
And just to be clear, if you said it, I'm sorry I missed it. The resulting videos will be streamable, obviously, but
Yes,
will they be downloadable? Or we don't know yet.
I'm not sure. Okay. I'm sorry. I should know that.
No, that's all right. This is a work in progress, obviously.
Yeah, definitely streamable. Probably, I don't know. We're not copy protecting this, because that's not what we do. We are taking some modest measures to make it inconvenient to share this, because it is kind of a big deal for us financially. But our hope is that anyone who would download it would use it only for their personal use and would not share it. This is not, as much as we like doing the free public stuff, and that will of course continue to, this is not one of those things. So we want people to treat it as though it were a book, and sort of keep it to purchasers only.
Joe, recently I've started looking at the kind of thing you're talking about here, even about authors. I'm not buying your book anymore. I am hiring you to teach me whatever the topic is. Just like I would go for private lessons if I were trying to learn to play the piano, or learn to play golf or tennis or something. For some reason, that's kind of shifted my mindset a little bit, and I think a lot of people should consider it that way. I think it changes the way they view not just paying for this content, no matter what form it takes, but also how they value it and what they are willing to pay. When you start thinking about the expertise that you have to pay for when you go to, say, take a piano lesson, what people charge, or develop a website or whatever, what you all charge for the Take Control books, what you're charging for this, seems almost ridiculously small, because we are hiring you to get the benefit of the hours, weeks, days, months that you've put in.
Right. Well, I would like for people to think of it like taking a class, taking a learning annex class, or well, maybe something a little higher tech and better than that. But it's like you go to Macworld and you buy a pass to go and learn from people about various topics. And that's really what you're doing here too, is you are joining a virtual classroom. And if you want to be one of those people that just sits in the back and watches and never raises your hand and never says anything, that's okay. I'm not going to take it off your grade. If you want to be like, ooh, tell me about this, you can do that too. I mean, we have a time limit. We're not going to let these things drag on forever. So I might have to shut down the questions at some point. But we are doing this to find out what you want to know and to try to package that information for you.
Very cool. Joe, before I let you go, I have to ask, and I know there's a lot going on between now and then, but you will be at Macworld, iWorld?
Yes, I'll be at Macworld, and I'm doing a talk about or with Siri. So that will be interesting. And the talk is nominally about Siri. I'm actually going to extend it a little bit, because as people who have been paying attention probably already know, Siri's got some competitors, and not just on Android. I mean, Siri's got some competitors on iOS. You can use Google Voice and a few others that can do nifty things that Siri can't do on your iOS device. And so I'll be talking about those as well. Siri has gotten a lot better since it was first released. Not as good as any of us would like it to be, but we have reason for optimism. Progress is being made, and I will be. Last year, my session on Siri was it was lots of fun. There were a lot of laughs in that room, and everybody seemed to have a good time. Largely at my expense, but still it was good, and hopefully we'll have more of the same this year. But anyway, yes, I'll be there, and there may be other things that I'm doing too, but that's the one I know for sure that I'm doing.
Terrific. We'll look forward to seeing you, and definitely look forward to seeing you on Take Control Live, working with your iPad. This is going to be a fun experiment, and I'm anxious to see how it turns out.
I am too.
Joe, good luck with the move. I look forward to seeing you again when you're back in the U.S. and maybe a little more rested and a little more sane.
Thank you.
Folks, as always, I'll have links in the show notes, especially to this one, to make sure you get to the right place where you want to go if you want to participate in Take Control Live. And if you aren't able to, then you'll be able to access the videos a little bit later. Until the next time, Mac Voices is the talk of the Mac community. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for listening. Mac Voices TV is part of the Mac Voices Group at MacVoicesGroup.com. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at BackbeatMedia.com.